What up, what up, what up, what up, Gringo Gang, man. We back with another video, man. It's gonna be a good one, dog. We got a good reaction video coming for you today. Man, Gringo Gang, I appreciate y'all supporting the channel. Keep liking, commenting, subscribing as usual, man. Boy, it's been a stressful day today, man. AT&T done had us in a headlock all day today. Stressed out, not knowing what to do. Man, I thought I was going to have to go regulate, purge, do something, man. But the situation has been resolved and we back to regularly scheduled programming. So let's get to it, man. In today's video, we're going to revisit one of the greatest conversations in the hip hop world. And you know this is a hip hop channel, and you know the discussion that we are having today is the legendary Tupac versus Biggie discussion. Now, I was scrolling through my feed and I got a shout out to my guys at Defiant Digital. If you don't know who they are, these are up and coming comedians. It's a collective of all the up and coming comedians nationwide. They have their independent YouTube channel and they do all types of different skits and things where they give relationship advice. They do court cases on social topics and debate those things, and they talk about all types of stuff amongst the comedian community. And you know, it's real dope. It's like their own TV station, their own TV channel for all things comedy, man. And it's excellent. I salute all of them. And if you love comedy like I do, make sure you go subscribe to Defiant Digital, man. They dope as hell, and you're gonna love their content, man. But we have to get down to the bottom of who was the better rapper. Was it Tupac or was it Biggie? You know, with them being old friends who ended up beefing before both of them had their sudden early demise. You know, that's a very hot topic, man. So we're gonna react to this video. They're holding a court case to find a verdict, a final verdict on this discussion so we can put it to rest, which it'll never be put to rest, but let's see what they come up with, man.
Once all evidence is presented, the jury of peers, without bias, will decide who's the better artist. Is it Tupac or is it Biggie, based on the evidence and presentation presented?
That Biggie was the more relatable artist, right? He was more in tune with the people, I feel, because
obesity.
Mr. Smith.
I mean, you know,
heart disease.
Listen.
So what y'all think, man? Do y'all think Biggie was more relatable? I think both of them were pretty relatable. They both had a lot to say about coming up in the struggle, man. Pac having no father, being there, being raised by his mother. Biggie trying to make it out the hood with his daughter and having to sell drugs, you know, to make a financial opportunity for himself. Which one do y'all think was more relatable? I definitely, I think they're pretty equal on that one. I can't really put one over the other because I don't really think either one disassociated themselves from the hood at any point in their career. So I can't really say one was more relatable than the other, but let's keep going.
Listen, Craig, I get it.
High
I get it.
cholesterol.
I'm gonna get to that. You can make the jokes, you can crack about his looks and all of that, but he still pulled Kim. And he still pulled Faith. He did all he went through in his life. My mom wasn't a Black Panther. I can't relate to that. My mom worked 2 jobs like Valletta, like Biggie's mom.
Okay. Tupac wasn't a rapper. He was an advocate of the people. That's just
Yes, Biggie did pull some baddies. we know Pac was having his way too, but we definitely know for sure some of the baddies that Biggie pulled, and with the Black Panther comment, you know, I don't know how he could say he can't really relate to that. We've all learned about, you know, Black history. It's Black History Month still as I speak. So if you're African American or have any percent of blackness in your blood, of course you can relate to the Black Panther party. So I don't really know what he means by that.
Most popular song, which I think is incredible, Ambitions of a Rioter, because his ambition was to protect the people. Biggie Smalls, on the other hand, a great rapper, but he was a glutton. He was materialistic, and he was selfish. His most streamed album is Ready to Die. Why are you ready to die and you have kids, nigga? Hey, I must prove how...
I mean, hey, that's a good valid point. I never thought about that when, you know, I was listening to the music back in the day. Why would you be ready to die if you got, you know, a baby? You should be trying to stay alive at all times. But, you know, that probably was just for marketing purposes. But as far as the materialism part, Biggie and Pac, I think both of them had a bit of materialism in them. Biggie was a little more flashy than Pac, in my opinion, but I can't really hold the materialism part against Biggie because, of course, the man that have shit, you know what I'm saying? He straight out the projects, you know. At least Pac got the opportunity to go to some, you know, theatrical schools and things like that. He got to be around some very educated people. I don't think Biggie ever got that experience, so I don't think we can put the materialism demon on him like that.
It is more important to be a man of the people than it is to be an ill MC. So despite his family telling him, hey, man, this advocacy shit is not the way to go, he still sat on the sword for black people.
I gotta agree, man. He was advised that, you know, it's a dangerous game that he's playing, Pac that is, but you know, if anybody was ready to die, he was ready to die more than anybody. So, you know, maybe he should have had that album name other than Biggie. But I mean, hey, they both made some quality contributions to the game, but definitely I see Tupac being more of a political artist and Biggie being more of a neighborhood hero, superhero type of guy. You know, the dude who shows you that you can make it out the hood, that anything is possible. He's more of like an inspiration to all the young black and brown kids trying to make it out. And I think Pac was more of like a Huey Newton, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X type of figure. So let's keep it going, man.
Matter of fact, I remember him getting arrested by the police, spitting on reporters, finding babies belonging to Brenda. Who is Brenda? How we know that's not your baby, nigga? And from that to Tupac to Shakur to Machiavelli, like, who is this nigga? He's moonlighting as a person for the people, but he's all about self.
Tupac and said,
I ain't gonna let him do that, man. We all have several nicknames for ourselves. I'm not gonna let him discredit my boy Pac names like that. Shit, I got about 3-4 nicknames myself, so I ain't gonna let him say Pac has no identity because he has different nicknames, man. We're not gonna do all that.
our son's dying wish is to hang out with you for a day. Tupac read this letter, flew to Maryland, took the kid to a basketball game, kept in contact with him. I want to say he paid for the funeral, but I'm not sure. And when the child died, he renamed his production company Joshua's Dream Productions. This is philanthropy. Atlanta, but he didn't. You know what Tupac did when he seen this black man getting attacked by 2 off-duty police officers? He hopped out the limo, pulled out his gun, and shot one of the dudes. He went to court for this. and beat the case. Because why? Self-defense is a thing in Georgia. He wasn't allegedly a rider. He was an actual rider.
Explain.
Gotta agree with that 100%. You know, Pac was 100% about that life. He gon' get in the field and get his shoes dirty for sure. But when it comes to, you know, showing up for the little kid who had a terminal illness and things like that, that's a very stand-up thing to do and very noble thing to do. But we can't weigh it up and say that makes him better either, because we don't have a bunch of evidence in this particular video of what Biggie might have done. You know, there's a lot of people who do a lot of great things for people and don't broadcast it, or there may not be cameras around, you know what I mean? So we can't say that Biggie didn't do anything for the kids or for the people. We definitely don't know how much Pac did or what his intentions were behind that particular case, but it was a very noble thing that he did nonetheless. So we're not gonna take credit away from Biggie, because who knows what Biggie could have did behind the scenes. So
All of Tupac's walking contradictions. How did he make songs like Dear Mama and see the same hoes and who he was? How do you make these walking contradictions? Do you believe Pac was more of an actor stuck in a role? Because before Juice, he was an activist. After that, he was a gangster. So who was Tupac?
Well, there's a such thing in life called duality. There are no absolutes. You're never the same person every day. You may be in the same body, but your experiences that day dictate what you do. So I think he was trying to be perfect, because what you have to remember is there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages.
In our community, it's like, well, which is it? Do we keep our head up and stay motivated? Because you're talking about the oppression of our people under the tutelage of white people, and then you talk about going to mess a nigga up. So it's this walking contradiction that I think that some would say it still causes confusion in our community. Fusion in our community. What do you say to that?
I would.
And yeah, man, I'm not really feeling that part, because that's another way of people trying to put you in a box. Like, people always want you to be defined by one thing. You're either a lawyer, or you're a doctor, or you're either serious or you're funny. But everybody knows we have different emotions, we have different moods. Sometimes you might like the cold weather, sometimes you might like the warm weather, you know. Sometimes you might be in the mood for a sandwich, sometimes you're in the mood for a salad. We can't keep saying that because we met a person and they were a certain way, that's how they have to be for the rest of their lives. I definitely don't agree with that aspect of how people try to look at public figures and try to call them fake and things like that, because they may evolve into something else, or their viewpoints might change over time. Like, that's called evolution. That's what humans do. We're not robots. We're not just gonna keep the same programming that we had in our first days on Earth. We're eventually going to pick up new information, and it's gonna continue to scope who we are as people. So I think it's really whack when people are so closed-minded that they think that you have to stay a certain way when they themselves are not the same person that they were 5-10 years ago. So that's a weird argument to me.
Agree with that, but that contradiction does not make you a worse artist. It makes you a better artist. And then I would also shift blame on Afeni Shakur for that, because Tupac's name was LaShawn up until he was 3 years old. He became Tupac at 3. That's when his mother changed his name. Those of you who know who Tupac is, he was a revolutionary that was beheaded in front of his people. You know, so this is something that I felt like Tupac embraced. He embraced the identity of the original Tupac, and I think we need to...
Maybe it's because I'm young. I had no idea there was another Tupac before Tupac. So that's a dope little tidbit of knowledge for me and for all of us to pick up right there.
attribute this more to a plan as opposed to him being murdered. I feel like being murdered or dying was a part of his plan to get his message across.
Okay. What could a person learn about Biggie from listening to his music, from your perspective?
So, first album, Ready to Die, right? This album's dedicated to all the teachers that told me I'd never amount to nothing. We've all been there. We've all had a teacher that didn't see our worth, right? People, family members, sometimes parents. Never amount to nothing. To all the people that lived above the buildings that I was hustling in front of and called the police on me while I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter.
Objection by selling crack to my mother.
Okay, well, first
You
of all...
feed your daughter by selling crack to my mother.
Allegedly.
This case isn't about who's the better man. It's about who's the better artist.
Right.
But
So
art
let's keep it
imitates
in
life.
context of the artistry.
What I was getting at was that...
And that is true. They have gone on a tangent bringing up everybody's personal business and personal standpoints when we are supposed to be discussing the craft of rapping and the craft of showmanship and who was better at that. But you know how it goes when people got to rep a particular team and defend a particular team. You know, we're going to bring out everything, every part of them. But yeah, we do need to get down to the bottom of who was the better MC. We need to get to that part of the conversation for sure.
Just in that intro of that song, you learned a lot about him, okay? That he loved women, he loved fashion, he was self-aware of his appearance, he was self-aware of how he looked and how he approached women, but he still had the swagger, he still had the confidence. He gave me confidence. He made me see the swagger, that I didn't have to just dress like my uncles that I had seen prior.
And see, he's saying that from a bigger dude's perspective, from a big boy fan, that BIGGIE gave him confidence, and that ties into what I said earlier. He was definitely the more inspirational artist for the young kid in the hood. He was definitely the more influential figure for that person. Whereas for people trying to change the world, that's where Tupac came in. So that's definitely where they differentiated.
Dressing with just tracksuits. He made me believe that even as a big guy, I could be fly.
But honestly, I really want to know, why is Biggie a better artist than Tupac? Why is he better?
Biggie, the way he told a story, he was a painter with those words. He would bring you into a situation, if you weren't even there, you felt like you was. And that is a GOAT.
Right day after that. So no matter how hard it gets.
I do agree. Definitely got plenty of songs where Biggie, you know, it'll almost feel like you're walking the project halls with him and going to hit the lick with him or do the robbery with him and all that shit like that. So he had a very dope way of giving you the play-by-play, step-by-step in most of his songs to make you almost feel, just by hearing the music, you felt like you were in that environment that he was at. So he definitely was a prolific storyteller for sure.
Stick your chest out and keep your head up. Martha Stewart could relate to that line. I don't know if she could relate to fucking RuPaul. You know how many minds Tupac watered with statements like, you gotta make a change. You see, that old way wasn't working. So now it's on us to do what we gotta do to survive. These are in rap songs that sold millions of records.
The same one that called...
Exactly. Rather than telling a personal anecdote of let me walk you through a day in my life, Tupac's lyrics and his songs were more of let me stand up for the people who don't have a voice. Let me say what the poor people who don't get heard, let me say what they want to say. You know what I mean? Let me be the voice for them. So they both had their own superpower, really. I'm sure if each one of them tried to do what the other was doing, they could do it just as well. But they both pretty much stayed in their lanes and they did what they do best. Each one of them did what they did best, for real.
All of our women, queens, and lift your head up, queen, was the same one that called them bitches. Bitch is a loose term in hip-hop. Biggie said it all the time, too. He definitely quoted a couple bitches in there, but he never called them bitches queens. He never tried to transform them to queens. He kept them as bitches. That was Pac that was selling these bitches through dreams. That meant something to Pac. That's why I fuck.
But I mean, hey, you know, is that fair? Because we all know that bitches, you know, bitches ain't just one-trick ponies either. Sometimes they can be bitches one day and they can be queens the next. Motherfucking bitch can show you some attitude one day and she can be cooperative the next. So is that unrealistic to tell a female that she's a queen and call females a bitch in the next song? It's not really unrealistic. Shit, you'll have queens and bitches in the same room with you. So, you know, once again, that limited mindset of everything is in a box, it don't quite work like that. You know what I mean? The water can get a little muddy at any time. You know what I mean? So that's kind of a tough situation right there, man. But what I will say, man, is look, so far it's looking like a stalemate for me, man. I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna feel at the end of this one, man. Right now, based on the arguments that they making, Biggie and Pac, they pretty much on the same level so far in this video. They on the same level based on these arguments, and we at 20 minutes already, so I'm gonna definitely call this part 1, and we're gonna continue because we have, let's see, we're only halfway through the video, so we're gonna have to come back with a part 2 on this one because I know y'all attention span can't handle it. But hey, part 2 coming next, man. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe on the channel, man. Run me up, dog. And yeah, next video you see, I'm gonna be bringing you part 2, and we're gonna get to the conclusion, and we're gonna find out, man, who they decide is the better artist at the end. Will it be Biggie or Pac? Who do you think is the better artist? Lifestyle wise, who do you think is the better artist? Content wise, musically? In my opinion, my personal opinion, outside of this video, you know, I'm just a Pac fan all the way. I think Pac had a more unique and capturing voice. I love the energy he brought to the track. He got, like, you know, I'm a Kobe fan, and I just love that competitive, just take over energy, take over spirit that certain people have, and Pac is one of those people that just has that dominant, ready to go to war type energy, and that's what I relate to, you know, more so. In my opinion, even though he may not have been the most lyrical, man, every time he dropped a track, I felt it. Every track I heard from Pac, I felt him on it. You know, the energy was just so strong. So I'm personally a Pac fan, but we still got another half of this video of this trial to dissect and to break down. So we're gonna find out who ends up winning and who ends up coming out as the better artist, in the opinion of the cancel court. So y'all make sure y'all go and check out Defiant Digital. Make sure y'all go subscribe to them. Check them out if you are a fan of comedy. And I'm gonna catch y'all in the part 2, man. Gringo gang, I appreciate y'all once again. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out this bitch. Yes, sir, ski.